This is the North Georgia Life Podcast. Embrace life where you live. Welcome to the North Georgia Life Podcast. It's Jake, your host, and today's episode, super fun family activity. Whether you're going by yourself, you want to take a cool date idea, or you just want to go out with the family, or take the kids out for a tour on the weekend. We are at the Consolidated Gold Mine. This is a legitimate, actual gold mine that you get a tour of. So you go down in the ground. It is so cool. We are so fortunate to have something that is honestly just an incredible historical artifact, if for lack of a better term, right here in our backyard. It is such a cool experience. You'll learn about what they actually did to gold mine. This was a working gold mine, so there's still equipment there from when this was being mined. So if you are looking for a fun family activity to do on a weekend or a holiday where the kids are out of school or one of the in-service days and stuff like that, this is an absolutely amazing experience. You will not regret it. You will all learn something regardless of what age or stage of life you're in. And it is so much fun. And hey, Dahlonega is a beautiful area. You won't be disappointed with the drive there either, regardless of where you're coming from. Don't forget, if you got ideas for future episodes, you can email us at northgeorgialifepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, North Georgia Life Podcast, on both of those platforms. And hey, if you've got coworkers, friends, people that are live on your street or at your job that are new to the area, share this with them. This is something that will help them get plugged in to the area they live and the community that they're a part of and just make their life better. So with that, we'll get started. Welcome to the North Georgia Life Podcast. It's Jake, your host, and today's episode is, I think, going to be really fascinating for a lot of people. The area of Dahlonega, Georgia, a lot of people know for different reasons. One, there's a ton of outdoor things to do in Dahlonega, regardless of what your areas of interest are, whether you like fishing, hiking, backpacking, camping. There's a ton of stuff to do here. People know that the UNG's main campus, the Dahlonega campus, is right here, literally right next to the square, and there's a ton of shops, restaurants, activities to do. I did an episode last fall. The planetarium is here on campus, so there's a ton of things to actually do on campus if you're involved in the community. There's a Holly Theater, and there's some things that are really have historical significance that a lot of us just don't even, it's not even on our radar of how important and significant they are to the country, but even just to the North Georgia region. So we're at one of those places today. We're at the Consolidated Gold Mine, which is in downtown Dahlonega, just kind of off the main road. And actually, you pull into the main road in the Walmart, and you go down the hill, and then you're right there. And the significance of where we're at is this gold mine has really national, international significance in the gold rush that happened now coming up on almost 200 years ago. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the history of that. For those of you who have not been here, it's something you got to come do at least once in your life, because as we were just talking before we started, there's so many neat just features of the North Georgia region that not only can you not find in the state of Georgia elsewhere, but a lot of them you can't find anywhere else in the country. And we have them all right here in North Georgia, which again is part of the reason we do the podcast, to give you an inside scoop into some of those things and a little of the behind the scenes information. So I am here with Dathan, who goes by D. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so you are, we were talking, you're originally from Toccoa. You've been here for how many years now here in Dahlonega?
So I have been here for 14 years, and I moved to Dahlonega to go to what was then North Georgia College and State University. And while we were studying for a calculus exam one day, we got this bug that we wanted to go out and explore a little bit. And I had the opportunity to come down to Consolidated Gold Mine, and I took my first tour as a customer. And after that, I had the bug. I had to work here. So I had the opportunity to get a job here. I worked as a guide, and this job has been absolutely fantastic. I've been here for 14 years now. I had the opportunity while working here to go back to school and earn a master's degree, and it's really just a dream job for me. It's quite a lot of fun. I love history. I love thinking about when you walk through the tunnels here at the mine, who walked ahead of you, who was there, what did they do, what did they find. And it's just really inspiring to be here, and it's very unique. Like you said, you'll never have a job like this. So
Right.
I plan to stay here as long as I possibly can.
So it was calculus that drove you in the mine.
I think so. The boredom of studying drove me to the mine. That's right.
When you were growing up, were you an explorer? What about this has filled that passion in you?
So when I was a kid, I think rocks and minerals were just everything. And I see that in a lot of kids even now. Just something about the different types of crystals, the colors, the mining for it, the looking for it. And as a kid, we would love to go out to the riverbeds and look for little quartz crystals and little garnets and things like that. And so my whole family would classify me as a collector. And even to this day, I have a wide variety of collections of things that probably nobody thinks is interesting but me. But the rocks and minerals always stuck. So, and then that whole going on an adventure. What am I going to find when I go here or there? And this place really encompasses all of that for me. And I think that's what we offer our customers when they walk through the door, is that sense of adventure and what will they discover, what will they find. And I think that's why we're still successful today.
Yeah. And I think that's like spot on. And that's one of the reasons that for people that I was telling you, a coworker that I was talking about, coming in and doing this podcast, and he's lived in this North Georgia region his whole life. His whole family's been from here forever, and he's never been here. And I'm like, it's such a neat place to come. I think adventure is the right word. And then when you learn about some of the history, it's like I kind of transport myself back to, this was like an actual mine that was in operation that, frankly is world famous for a number of reasons, but that you can still get tours of. So can you take us through a little bit of your of just the history of the mine? The gold rush started back in the 1800s? Is that right? I think we said we're about 191 years out, so a long time ago.
That's right. So basically what happened is this. In 1828, a young man by the name of Benjamin Parks, who lived in our area, stumbled across a rock that was laced with gold. And after getting permission from the landowner to go out and mine the property, he was quoted as saying, "I turned back the soil and it looked like the yellow of an egg. It was more than my eyes could believe."
Wow.
Now, I would that just sends little shivers up my spine when I think of that. But at that point, the word had got out, hey, there's gold. So a year later, right about 1829, over 15,000 miners had showed up to our area, and that started the first significant U.S. gold rush. And it was right here in what is now Lumpkin County. Now, what had happened was the miners had come in and they were placer mining. They were in the riverbeds and the streams, and they were using gold pans, and they were getting gold that had been eroded out of the mountainsides, that gold that had washed out of the mountains and down to the lowest point in the river. That gold got gone pretty quick. You got 15,000 guys in there,
that's
and all of a sudden, that's the easy gold. So then they decided that what they would do is they would wash more gold out of the mountains. They had looked, and you can see the Appalachian Mountains as they roll and they're smooth. They've had a lot of erosion. So they developed what they called hydraulic cannons or hydraulic giants. And it was basically a huge water cannon of pressurized water that they would shoot up on the side of a mountain, and it would wash down all the hillside, and they would collect that material and they would run it through their sluice boxes or their gold pans. And what happened was very significant is at the end of the day, they're cleaning up their materials and they're finding these little bits of white quartz rock, and they're seeing studded inside the quartz little bits of gold. And then it was decided, well, the gold is in the mountain, it's in the rock. So hard rock gold mining started just after the Civil War, where the miners were going under looking for those white quartz veins on the side of the hill. What's significant about Consolidated Gold Mine is that they started the first systematic effort of deep underground gold mining on the East Coast. So for the first time, they had laid out all the plans, and they were going to really go under and see what the earth had inside of it. And this mine was extremely successful, but it only operated for a short period of time. The mine was established in 1898, and by 1906, it had closed.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty short. And is that the physical mine that we're at here today?
The mine that we're sitting on here is the Hand Mine, and it was the largest of the 5 mines. And this was the property that the administrative building, the stamp mill, the assayer's office, all of that was right here on this property. And today we take guests a little over 20 stories under the ground and just short of half a mile through the Hand Mine tunnels that was under the Consolidated brand.
For people who just have any level of exploring or history, I would say this is one of the most fascinating tours to go on, because I would imagine that a lot of it is, has been like what you see for decades. I mean, there's not a Starbucks down there.
Absolutely, that's right. So despite us being underneath the Walmart, everything that you see underground is authentic to the gold mine. It is original. So when you're walking through the tunnels, you're seeing the original ore cart tracks. You're seeing some of the original drills and winches that were used, as well as some of the hand tools that the miner used. All of that was in the mine when the mine was being excavated to turn into an attraction that we have today, and was preserved so that customers could see it today. Mm-hmm. So when I'm down there, it's fun for me to think, what was the guy's name that operated this drill? Did he find any gold? How many hours did he work in this mine? What was his life like before and after? And that really adds some mystery to the whole tour, because you can live that life of a miner while you're down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to think that stuff was there, it was like, what was the last time that somebody's hands were on that was actually mining? Because those are the tools they used, not metaphorically, but literally. Those are the exact tools that they were using the last time that gold was mined out of there. About how long has it been since the mine has been in operation?
So the original Consolidated company was closed in 1906.
Okay.
So the last gold would have come out that year. And the mine property really just sat barren and vacant for many, many years until around 1985, when it was purchased by a local family here in town for the purposes of mining again. And that was the whole goal, is to get a commercial mine operating again here in Lumpkin County. The price of gold in the mid-'80s had shot up really high. Everybody was excited and anxious. But what it turned out was that price of gold at the time wasn't going to hold true. And when the price of gold it dropped almost out of sight. So the owners of the property had nothing really to do with their property. They couldn't really mine it at that point. So they decided to prepare the mine for tours. And we were placed on the National Registry of Historic Places. The mine was cleaned up, and stairs were put in so that people could get down and see it today. And that's really where we're standing now. So our first tour was given in October of 1991. So we're approaching 30 years of underground tours, and we're growing every year, seeing more and more people come out to be with us. And I don't think that we'll start mining anytime soon, just because
that was going to be my question. Is there ever talk of mining again?
It's when I first started, we used to tell people, when the price of gold hits this amount, X amount, we'll open up again and we'll start mining, because there's still plenty of gold here in Dahlonega, in this mine in Lumpkin County. It's just a matter of getting to it. It's just a matter of going down and getting a little deeper and finding that gold. But as time has gone on, we've decided, at this point, it's just almost better to preserve the history, to show the history, than to open the mine back up and take that away from the people. Being able to see it. Plus, I won't lie to you, I would much rather be a guide here at the mine to show people the history, as opposed to go down there and swing a hammer every day. So I think that we'll just stick to what we're doing right now for the foreseeable future.
From your time here, you've been here for a while. Any favorite stories, best moments?
It really boils down to, every day is really a good day. And I've always, you always hear this saying that if you find a job where you're not working, then you're doing good. Well, at this particular job, as far as I'm concerned, I have a good day every day. I have fun. And that's the benefit of working in a tourist attraction, is the people that come are looking to have a good time. They're in a good mood. They're excited. And we see people from all over the world. So every day is something different and fun. So the other day we had a group from Japan, and we learned how to say gold in Japanese. And then we'll have a group that'll come from China. We'll learn how to say gold. And they're always teaching us up. Our customers teach us just as much as we teach them when they come. And it is such a joy and a benefit to be with them. And every day is a fun day, and every day is unique and different.
Being in the tourist world, do you have a favorite part of what you do?
I mean, at this point, my favorite thing is just try to get more people to visit. Like to grow this business from what it was to something bigger. But
have you had any celebrity sightings? There's a lot of movies being filmed in and around the North Georgia area, Atlanta metro area. You ever had any celebrities come through the gold mine?
Well, Anna Kendrick came not too awful long ago, and it was fun to have her on tour. we were very low key and quiet about it. In fact, most of us didn't even know she was here until after she went on the tour. But that was a lot of fun to see her with us. And Nancy Grace is a very common person to come by here. She lives pseudo nearby, and will come by with her kids pretty often. And we haven't had any other major sightings, but we have lots and lots of interest from folks that want to film using the gold mine tunnel. So the movie industry, like you say, is huge in Georgia, and we can offer something very unique. We just haven't quite landed that huge movie role yet, but we're still working on it.
Yeah,
so.
I was to say it's coming.
It's coming.
You do have a unique location, and there's not a whole lot of places that have mines.
We've had several small independent films filmed here in the mine, and we have had scouts for some very major films that skipped over us and filmed in nearby locations. But one of these days, we're going to hit that big one, I know.
Awesome. Anything that you'd like to see happen in and around the gold mine over maybe the next 5 to 10 years?
So plans for Consolidated over the next few years, or however long it takes us, would be to expand our underground tour. Right now, we're taking people just short of a half-a-mile round trip through the gold mine tunnels, and we're really wanting to open up more of that tunnel space for people to see. So the mine that we're sitting on right here has a couple of miles of tunnels in it. There's more than that on the property, but we could really take people a lot further into the mine to see like the elevator shaft, some of the larger rooms, some of the tunnels that run above the tour path where we're at now, so a whole different level of tunnels. And we'd really like to see that open up, and that'll give us more room and space for additional displays, showing different mining techniques and stuff like that. And then we're constantly looking for antique mining equipment that we can preserve, that we can have on display for everybody. And we're looking to get all that together, get that down into the mine. And we've added a new display almost every year, so we're definitely expanding what we're teaching to people. And that's our long-term plan for that.
Okay, that's awesome. I had no idea that was. You had so much.
This is a really big mine, absolutely.
One of the other things I think I saw online, the significance of this mine itself was so as I understand it, the composition of the quartz and the gold kind of almost like attract each other, or the gold is attracted to the quartz, or.
So basically what happens is in our area, the geology of the rock is that the gold is inside the quartz.
Okay.
So our mountain is made of a rock called gneiss, but inside of that are layers of white quartz rock. And as the geology of the mountain is created, that white quartz rock carries fine gold particles through and layers itself inside the mountain. So when you're talking about gold inside of quartz in our area, you don't go down in the mine and see big nuggets of gold protruding from the wall or anything like that. You just get that white quartz rock and you extract that from the mountain, and then it has to be crushed to get the gold out. It's a very fine gold. They call it flour gold because it's about the size of a grain of cooking flour. So it's really fine. Occasionally you'll get a piece of quartz that has a visible line of gold in it, and those are typically kept as more specimen pieces. So the gold will be inside the white quartz rock in our area, and that's what the miners looked for.
Was it this particular mine that there was several veins of quartz that all kind of converged?
Yeah, so what's really significant about our area is that we are very rich in this gold-bearing quartz ore, and as they were mining the Consolidated property, they were surveying out veins of quartz that they were running underground, and several veins merged together to form one giant vein of quartz that its widest point was 22 feet wide. It was one of the widest veins of quartz ever found, especially here on the East Coast. And that particular vein recovered 54 pounds, 9 ounces of gold in a single 12-hour shift. That had been right around 1901.
That's a good day.
So that's a really good day. And newspaper would report it as glory, glory, what a hole. And that's one of the names that it has today, is the Glory Hole here at Consolidated Gold Mine.
So is 22 feet? Is that like a school bus? I mean,
yeah, that would be about right. Sure.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible. Let's talk about how people get here. So you have tours that are available to the general public. Is that 7 days a week, 5 days a week? What are the hours that people can come on tours?
So we are open 7 days a week, rain or shine. All of our activities are either underground or indoors, so it doesn't matter what time of the year to come. We're here every day. and you can come in off the street. You don't have to have a reservation or anything like that. Tickets are available for tours all throughout the day, and tours leave continuously, about every 30 minutes or less. Gold panning is included with your tour, so we teach you how to pan for gold just like the miners would have done it. We give you the metal style gold pan, a sample of ore, and then our guides will help you find something. Everybody's going to find a little souvenir to take home with them, a little bit of gold. And then your tour will last about 40 minutes underground with one of our guides to answer questions, show you the history of the mine, walk you through the tunnels, make sure you don't get lost. And then we'd love to have you.
Yep. And for people who want to do something special for their office, their department, or have a group, some sort of group trip, need to make reservations, how far out, something like that gets scheduled?
So typically with group reservations, we ask for a week in advance. We can do it very short notice, so that's fine too. We can accommodate 200 people per hour. So if you have a small group, a church group, scout group, or if you have a large corporate event, we can take you and facilitate you through our activities. And we schedule groups year-round. You can just give us a call, or you can fill out our forms online.
Okay. What's one of your favorite things around the North Georgia area?
Definitely Consolidated Gold Mine, my favorite part, because I am a little biased. I work here. It's what I do, so that's kind of the thing. But North Georgia is so rich, not only in the gold here in Dahlonega, but within all the activities that you can do. I mean, literally in our backyard is a treasure trove of stuff to go do. So my wife and I love to travel and see all the different things in Georgia. But I don't know that I have a particular favorite one that I could just pinpoint for you.
It's fair enough. This area has so many things. That's a fair statement. So one of the things I like to do before we end is something I call the lightning round, which is a question that has absolutely nothing to do with the gold mine or what we've talked about today. But this particular one I have titled Desert Island Shop Till You Drop. So if you were about to get stranded on a desert island, and you could only go 2 places before you got there, one place for a final meal and one place for last-minute supplies, which 2 places would you go?
Well, last meal, I'd definitely have to say the Smith House in Dahlonega.
Yep.
I would go there because it's all you can eat. I'd fill up on all the good country cooking, and that would definitely be a favorite and a must. And as far as supplies go, oh, man, where would you go?
I'd probably go up the hill to Walmart.
Well, I was going to say, I'm super close to Walmart. I do have a tunnel that runs up near their back door, so I'll probably get there pretty quick. So I guess Walmart for my supplies and Smith House for dinner.
There you go. How do people find you online, social media? How do people get connected with Consolidated Gold Mine?
Our website, consolidatedgoldmine.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. You can also give us a call at 706-864-8473, open year-round, and we'd be glad to have you.
From having, and we were talking before we got started, it's probably been almost a decade before since I came on my first tour here, and I still remember parts of it, and I just remember how fascinating it was. And it's one of those things in life. The older you get, the more you appreciate the uniqueness and the opportunities of where you live geographically in the world. And I would say this is absolutely no exception to that. For parents who have kids that are always on their phones, bring them up here, show them a piece of history. And I'm guessing there's probably terrible reception in the mine, so they can't be on their phones anyway if they wanted to. With that, we will wrap up. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you next time. This is the North Georgia Life Podcast. Embrace life where you live.